There's something I love about talking with people who've chosen Whidbey Island, people who didn't just land here by accident, but saw something in this place worth rooting into. My guest today, Hannah Andersen, is one of those people. She's the Outreach and Education Coordinator for the Whidbey Island Conservation District and part of a younger generation that's quietly shaping the island's future through stewardship, creativity, and community work. Hannah first came to Whidbey as an AmeriCorps volunteer with Coupeville Farm to school, teaching kids where their food comes from and helping connect classrooms to the gardens and farms around them. Those 2 years left her deeply connected to the island, the people, and the rhythms of island life. Now, through her role at the Conservation District, she's helping residents of all ages understand how their daily choices from gardening to shoreline care tie into the larger health of our ecosystems. You'll find her leading workshops, organizing events like Orca Recovery Day, and building bridges between science, education, and community. What makes Hannah's story so interesting to me is that she represents a perspective we don't always hear on Whidbey, the voice of a young professional who's building a life here now in real time. On an island often known for retirees and second homes, she's asking, what would it take for more young people to see a future here? In this conversation, we'll talk about what drew her to stay, the projects that light her up, and how she sees Whidbey growing, not just in numbers, but in awareness and care. I think you'll find Hannah's perspective refreshing and hopeful, a reminder that stewardship isn't just about protecting land and water, but about belonging to a place and helping it thrive for generations to come. Here's my conversation with Hannah Andersen on the Local Whidbey Podcast. If you've been told to just use AI, but you still feel stuck on what to say, where to show up, and how to stay consistent, that's not an AI problem. It's a communication strategy problem. That's why the AI Desk was created by the Media Insider. The AI Desk helps small business owners organize their message, clarify their voice, and build a communication system that can actually run without hiring an agency and without sounding like everyone else online. AI should support your thinking, not replace it. That's the AI Desk from the Media Insider. Clarity first, tools second. For a free 30-minute discovery call, go to themediainsider.co and click Connect. Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Maxie.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, good.
The sun is out. It's lovely.
Are you? Yeah, I know. Like every time the sun comes out this time of year, all the way to what, May?
Oh, yeah.
June? I'm always so grateful when it comes out.
I feel like a sunflower that's just turning my face towards it when we get a sunny
yes,
day. Like
because I have to say it's my biggest, as I've gotten older, especially, I do get that. What is that where it gets it when it's gray too long?
Oh, seasonal affective disorder?
I really do.
Yeah.
And we have to go somewhere sunny because I just have to.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, like growing up in Washington, that was like the environment we grew into. And like I would see my mom taking vitamin D supplements and
I do that.
Not understand. Now I do.
I like to say I take it like crack. But I appreciate you coming to my home, listeners. This is Hannah's the first interview I've done in my house, and so if it sounds a little echoey, hopefully I've fixed that. But I really appreciate you driving out here.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to interview Hannah is because most of everyone that I've interviewed is of a certain age. Yeah, a lot of them younger than me, some older than me, but I really wanted a perspective from her age group on a lot of the things about Whidbey. So that's the direction we're going to go today. Well, you're part of a younger generation, like I said, on Whidbey Island. What originally drew you here?
The trees, honestly. Well, like I said, I grew up in Washington, and after I graduated college, I had sort of a split-second decision to move to Southwest Desert in southern Nevada with a group of friends who were moving to be closer to family, and I was just like, I've had enough of the gray. I would really like to try something wildly different. And so I spent a year living in the desert, and it was wonderful. I love the ecosystem that's there. But the longer I was there, and I was expecting to not miss Washington and, the water and the seasons, I just was really, really longing for trees and green. And when I closed my eyes and was picturing where I want to be, it looked a lot like Whidbey Island.
Yeah.
And so again, I moved out here. I landed with some friends, and it's a short, long story about how I got here. But yeah, I would say the trees and the people pulled me here first.
Yeah, I say that too because I'm all about green, and I have friends and family who live in the Arizona area, and also being in Texas, growing up in Texas. I really like the green, and I don't mind visiting those places at all, and I do.
Yeah.
But I can't live there permanently.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't do it.
It was really freaky to me to be far away from water and know, I think it was that existential feeling of if my car breaks down and I don't have water with me, then that's a bad situation,
So where in Washington did you grow up?
I grew up in the Snohomish River Valley.
Okay.
That's what I like to say is just the town Snohomish, but a lot of my experience and love for where I lived just came from being outside and exploring
such a gorgeous
countryside. It's beautiful. Man. And the Central Cascades, I say I grew up there as well.
So Whidbey Island itself, what made you feel like this place was a place you wanted to stay?
I think the way I feel like my nervous system regulates itself to not be in the busy chatter of more city life, and just being able to walk outside my door and immediately be outside, even though that's true for anywhere in the world where you walk outside your door and you're outside. It's just, I'm looking out at your view and I see, 100-foot tall Douglas fir, and that's just something that I'll never take for granted because it's
and
so
the water.
To me. Yeah, and the water. It's very beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, we were very fortunate to find this place during COVID, for sure. Okay, so you spent 2 years as an AmeriCorps volunteer with Coupeville Farm to school. First of all, explain what AmeriCorps is in case in this day and age people don't know what it is. And also, how you love that experience. What was your experience with Coupeville?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, AmeriCorps can be described as many things, but it officially was started in the latter half of the 90s by the Clinton administration, and it was a way to sort of start a Peace Corps mission domestic. So that was the roots of AmeriCorps, and it's since grown. I think during the 2008 recession, AmeriCorps really took on this tone of getting established in schools to help lessen the burden on public school educators and also give job experience to young professionals, people who are just out of college, who might want to go the education route, but don't have the credentials to do that. And so where I've landed with AmeriCorps, with Coupeville Farm to School, it was like a voluntary educator position where my official title was the school garden educator. So I would help run lessons and facilitate learning outside in the school garden that had been started by the Coupeville Farm to School nonprofit.
Okay.
So AmeriCorps, it's kind of, and it's in flux right now. It's been really affected by this administration, but it gets people connected to nonprofits that kind of would otherwise not have the funding to bring on board another person onto their mission. And so we're paid a stipend and we're technically not supposed to work kind of high level jobs in that organization. It's kind of just the what needs to get done on a daily basis. So I really fell in love with the work there of seeing an outdoor classroom that is right outside a traditional school building, where kids can come decompress, teachers can decompress, and engage in learning and with their environment in a really immediate way.
Okay.
And I could go on and on about that.
So what surprised you the most about working with the kids in the school garden and the food programs?
Kids are so wise, I would just say. They're also funny, and they will read you to filth. I think what surprised me the most is how kids are the lifeblood of their community. And I feel like I assumed that before working in that role, but I really got to see it up close. Teaching a lesson, I'm trying to, make sure everyone's engaged. I'm just really self-aware of my classroom management skills. I might be beating myself up on someone's goofing off and I need them to pay attention. But then the next week, that kid who was maybe having a harder time paying attention would run up to me and go, Farmer Hannah, Farmer Hannah. Because that was my name.
So cute, Farmer Hannah.
Farmer Hannah. They say, I really liked the lentil dal that we made in class last week, and so I brought the recipe card home, and now my family and I make it together.
Aww.
And I would get these little stories, or like a child who has kind of severe developmental needs and is in a separate program, comes out to my garden or their garden and is in the middle of a meltdown, and they're able to regulate with their helper a lot faster than it would take for them to come to, a calm sort of stasis in the classroom. And that child, I got a thank you card from her parents at the end of the year. And they said, just so you know, she brought seeds home from your garden and has planted them in ours. And now her garden is prolific.
Oh,
and it's just wonderful. Things like that, the little gifts that you can't expect. I think that was the most surprising.
So now you're the outreach and education coordinator for the Whidbey Island Conservation District. For listeners who aren't familiar with that, how would you describe the WICD's mission in your own words?
So WICD is part of a larger network of conservation districts in Washington. Actually, there's conservation districts all over the continental U.S. Our mission, though, is to provide non-regulatory service and resources to landowners, residents, folks who call Whidbey and the land around it their home. And so those resources and tools that we offer are to help with maybe natural resource concerns. So I throw out all this jargon, but when I say natural resource concern, that could be anything from a flooding issue on your property to the stand of trees in your backyard that you just don't know how to take over managing. Or it could be the tiny 10 by 5 garden plot that you have that you just want to know what would grow well there. Okay. So a lot of times people come to us after they've maybe gotten a knock on the door from Island County or another sort of more official governing body where something has been brought to their attention that they need to address. And so then they will reach out to us, and we're in many ways a middleman between those governing bodies and then also possible funding or possible solutions that can just make sure that everyone is, happy where they need to be. So we work with the NRCS office, that's the Natural Resource Concern Service. I know I got that wrong. But that office, as well as the USDA, to look for funding for individual projects. And we're kind of a one-size-fits-all entity, but trying to funnel what we do to be the most reachable and also accessible for folks who need that assistance the most.
So, as I mentioned in the intro, I met you at the Oak Harbor Garden Club. You were the speaker. Right. And so your main role is outreach and education. Mm-hmm. So to me, you were doing both of those things at the garden club. So how do you balance that? And do you help people take action, or you just inform them, outreach to them to take action?
A little bit of both, like you said. Yes. Okay. My main priority when I'm doing outreach and education is to get people excited about the possibility of what they can do, and to empower people with the tools that they need to see a project start or get completed. I really hold on to the adage, no one is an island.
Right.
And a lot of times people just need someone who is as excited about what they're working on as them, or can help inspire that excitement, or can ground it in reality.
Yeah.
Grounded
in reality.
That's my least favorite part, but it's necessary. I think outreach is, to me, that is opening the door and inviting people in, and education is learning what someone already knows. Maybe I learned something from what they know, and then we just look for a solution that makes the most sense.
Okay.
Together. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the programs or projects at WICD that you're most proud of to be involved in?
This is a hard one for me because I am very proud of all of them. I think because a lot of the projects have taken years and months to get to where they are now, but some that I'm really passionate about are the annual seed swap we help put on in collaboration with the Whidbey Island Growers Association. That'll happen January 26th this coming year. And that's my favorite blend of outreach and education, where neighbors who are 80 years old and also 8 years old get to be in the same room and swap stories, share seeds, and get what they need for the next growing season.
Yeah, that is cool.
It is really amazing.
Before moving here, every home that we ever had, I just landscaped it, until I moved here and saw all the flowers you could grow and all the different things, and started getting more into researching it and buying books and the whole thing. And last year was the first time I grew dahlias from seed. I decided instead of doing the whole tuber thing, because the whole tuber thing is a lot.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
That was last year, and I did out of the 10. I got 10 plants out of all of it, and they stayed pretty tiny. You only had a couple of blooms, so I felt very fortunate. But that was fun. And then this year we dug up tons of dahlias that I already had, and I can see why people decide not to do that so much, because it is a lot of work.
It's a ton of work.
Yeah. And in the first couple of years we were here, I left my dahlias in the ground, and they did fine. And then last year they did not. The ones left in the ground all got ruined and soggy and obliterated.
That's the risk.
It is.
Yeah.
I have very sandy soil right here on this bluff. And so the water does drain down, but we had covered it up. And so the water stayed in.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's a whole nother.
Your soil is doing its job, but a little too well.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, all my nails are gone. I can't get all the dirt out because all I did all weekend was wash and divide dahlia.
So now you're in the dividing party.
Yes.
The dahlia tubers. Welcome.
Yes. All right. That was down a rabbit hole. But anyway, so you also provide workshops and planting events and partnerships. Can you go over that a little bit just to give people more information about the WICD?
Absolutely. So what I love again about this work is there are some things that are annual that never change, like the seed swap or our native plant sale that goes on. It's on right now, and then pickup is the first week of March.
Yes.
But then
I was on it all morning.
Oh, great. Wonderful.
Yeah. I need some ferns.
Yes. There's some good ones there.
Yeah.
And then there's also a lot of flexibility and wiggle room for workshops that speak to the current moment that we're in. Like I got to do this great collaborative project with the Goosefoot Community Fund. We put together a workshop that's designed for small businesses and maybe small farmers who know they want to go in the direction of selling what they produce, but don't have the immediate knowledge for how to enter the Whidbey market specifically. Right. So, and that was sparked by multiple listening sessions with local farmers who are saying, what do we really need to do well and to be represented in the local food system? Right. We need more knowledge for how to enter that food system to begin with. All right. And so we put on a series of 3 workshops, already did the first part, and the next 2 are coming up. And that was something that didn't exist a year ago. Oh, great. So, yeah, I think that the best way to learn what we're doing and what we have available for people who live here is to follow us on socials or also get signed up on the newsletter. We'll send upcoming events and really try to keep it well-rounded for what is, again, what makes sense for
I would encourage everyone to follow your newsletter. And here's the reason why. This is my story with you guys. If you just follow someone on social media, you're going to miss things in the algorithm, or it's going to go down the page and you don't scroll that far. Because the last 2 years, I've missed the sale because I didn't see it till March. Right. And to see that I should have ordered in November. So this last year when that happened again, because I'm just waiting for the announcement, on social media, I went and subscribed. And of course, I get the early bird special. Yes. I'm on it. I have a cart full of stuff. Yes. So I would really encourage people to subscribe. Yeah. Opposed to just doing the social media thing.
Thank you for the shout out.
Sure.
Try to keep the newsletter interesting. Yeah. I think it's so interesting. There was this mass move away from newsletters. Like 5 years ago. Yeah. Or no one is looking in their inbox to social media. And now I think social media is just so flooded, and also people want to preserve their attention spans and not be on it. Now we're back to the newsletter age. Yeah.
So being in the digital space myself and being a director of a department at eWomen Network, I saw that where people were so tired of the newsletter thing and their open rate going in the toilet, and then really having to expand their social media. And you're absolutely right. It's back to that. And I am someone that with my supper club, you have to subscribe in order to get an invitation, because then you technically, those are your subscribers. Those are your people. And you do not own anyone who follows you on social media. And if you know what I mean by the word own, not technically own, but you can't have someone delete all those or someone hack your account and they all go away. And if you have some type of reason why people should subscribe. And so this isn't a conversation about that, but I'm just giving people a pointer.
Yes, a little education. Outreach.
Yeah. Okay, so back to when we were talking about the workshops and you were talking about the farmers and the things you guys were coming together and your sales and things like that. So you guys plan all of these events. Do you guys ever have a moment where you're like, yes, this is why I do this work? This is so fulfilling. All the time? Okay, good.
Well, I mean, of course, there are some things you have to slog through, but I've always felt really grateful to be a part of a project at the end of it. I mean, the thing that comes to mind the most is this current project. It's kind of in an experimental phase right now, but in championing, or I shouldn't say championing, but assisting and coming alongside school gardens that are already in existence in Oak Harbor. One of the coalitions I run is the School Gardens Coalition. And again, with the outreach and education, it's meant to connect different school garden educators and school garden programs with funding opportunities or training opportunities, and just anything that really helps their program be successful.
Right.
And South Whidbey, Central Whidbey have this wonderful legacy of having really robust, really wonderful farm to school programs. And there's not a lot of that representation in Oak Harbor.
Okay.
And I was noticing this in my work with Coupeville Farm to School and asking why. Why is it that, Oak Harbor has the largest population base, but we don't have a program that looks anything like what's going on elsewhere? And the truth is that it's hard to get a permanent adult professional who wants to put in the time, put in the effort, and connect the pieces to get school garden programs going in Oak Harbor. And it's gone through many different transitions. The pandemic sort of halted some upward momentum in that area. And also just with school districts being as burdened as they are. Yeah. It really takes an outside source who can come in and get something moving. And so I have a beginning site going at Oak Harbor Elementary. I work in a couple of other physical spaces, Olympic View Elementary, Crescent Harbor Elementary. But Oak Harbor Elementary is really where this pilot program is going.
Okay.
And it just started with listening to a couple of really, really tired teachers who really wanted to see their garden that had fallen to weeds come back to life again. Yeah. And I started showing up like Wednesdays during lunch and working in this garden. And then I invited like an open invitation. If you see me in the garden, and I'll send an email to the teachers. You can send your kids, their helper, or schedule a class with me to come out and be in the garden. And one of those students who really was pulled to it immediately is a kid who it's hard to be in class for them.
Right.
Like they are navigating a lot of different situations that make learning difficult, and it can be really frustrating to be in school. And they came out with their paraeducator to help me like plant this bed, and we were using this big tool called a broad fork, which for listeners who maybe don't know what a broad fork is, it's like this large 4-pronged like a fork basically that you have to jump on and really wiggle. Use your whole body to get it moving in the ground. And I pointed out this tool is like, how would you describe this tool? And they're like, that's like a torture device. I'm like, well, it's a broad fork. And if you want, you can help me dig up this garden bed. And we did. And they were just like wailing on the broad fork. There was dirt in the air, and they were out there for about
that's great.
an hour with me during their recess and lunch. And I didn't see that child for the rest of the day, but their teacher came back to me and they said, I want you to know that was one of the best days in class we've ever had with this student after he got back from the garden. Yeah. They're like, they're almost crawling out of their skin. It's hard for them to even sit still for 15 minutes, but they were able to engage in the lesson and engage with their classmates. And every time I talk about that, I get really emotional because it's like, that understood. That's why I do that.
Yeah.
Is, someone who has a really specific need or who will really get a lot from being in a garden space, being outside with someone who's patient and willing to listen. That is keeping that kid engaged.
Right.
And I love that.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And a good example of why what you do is worth it so much.
Thank you.
I have tons of questions about that with Oak Harbor, but we'll save that for a different discussion. So we won't go down a rabbit hole. Okay. So you're building a career here at a time where many young adults leave island or rural communities. What has been the biggest challenge for you as a young professional living on Whidbey Island?
That is a can of worms.
I bet it is. Give it to us.
Right. I would say the biggest hurdle for a lot of young people is that it's hard to find housing, and it's hard to find housing that fits,
fits what they're paying here.
Yeah, fits with what the current wage is here. And
I have to be honest with you because I can totally get into this with you and probably would agree with 99% of what you said. But even for me, myself, with 30 years of experience in what I do, businesses that have approached me want to pay me what I made in the 90s. And I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And because at those salaries, you can't afford to live here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's someone with 30 years of experience.
Yeah.
You don't.
No.
So what are they paying you? I mean, it's just, wow.
If you submit a public records request, you can figure out what my salary is. But
it floored me.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's challenging. Back to the, no one is an island, truly the only way to really make it and be supported here is to know people. And that is really... that's hard for, someone who's just moving out here for the first time. I know when I first moved out, I lived in a friend's dining room for the first couple of months I was here.
Wow.
Like
you're still in college.
Yeah. If you have a dream to live here, you really have to put pen to paper and, show up and kind of be like a stubborn weed.
Well, a few episodes ago, I interviewed Ross Chapin. If you know him, he wrote the book Pocket Neighborhoods. But one of the things he talks about on the podcast is building and creating neighborhoods for everybody, no matter where they are in life.
I love that.
Whether it's me remodeling the room above my garage and putting the kitchenette in there and letting someone rent it, or adding on to a current house in order to have elderly people, say my parents or whatever, and having more people in generations of people who've lived there their whole life do that. And I really I loved his ideas about making it affordable, making it where you have builders invest in the community, whereas an organization is providing a help with a loan.
Right.
All of those things could be helpful here.
Absolutely.
But just like your garden in Oak Harbor, it takes outside and inside cooperation.
Totally.
and people who are willing to say, let's try it, instead of immediately saying, that's not going to work here.
Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
That's what I hear.
That, and I love that approach too,
Mm-hmm.
of like your solution is getting to know your neighbor, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And cooperating with who you live next to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard work, but I think
It
it's really, it can and is done, and it's really worthwhile. I think what I've noticed a lot in my generation is, we've had to learn kind of from scratch of like how to create a community, how to get to know who you're living next to. And I'm always of the like glass is semi half full, mentality. I just think that there's a creative solution out there and it's happening. And I think it happens in small examples that build up to be a big precedent, right? And what I will say of what makes the hard thing of being on Whidbey easier is that I can so immediately get to know my community, and I can really, it's also hard. There's kind of this frosty,
very
facade we see. Yeah. But I think everyone, to their bones, is really craving connection. Yeah. And, we have to be the brave people who are going to put ourselves in a room full of strangers. Right. And with no expectations.
And that's what I had to do, being from the South and being, or growing up in the environment of constantly being in each other's homes and not having to wait 3 months to have dinner with someone because it was not on their opening in their calendar till then. I didn't grow up in that type of environment, and moving to the Northwest, this is my second time to live in the Northwest. And I can't say that I necessarily, after the first time, said I wanted to move back here, but I missed it a lot, and the green and the outdoors and that kind of thing. But the frostiness, but then to see the community come together, especially like you were saying, the current administration, there's a lot of things that are, being cut. To see the community come together to help feed people, to provide for people, there is that. So, that tells me that the frost can melt.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about my neighborhood here. I live on a really long street where all of the houses are in a row, and all the houses have big lots, right? I've been here 5 years, and there's not one neighbor I have that I've ever been in their home. Now, do they wave at me? Yes. Do they say hello? Yes. Are they nice? Yes. But there's none of that connection thing where, I'll say hi, but I don't really want to get to know you. Yeah. So in order for me to experience community, I had to start my own thing. Like you just said, I had to step into my supper club. I've had almost 900 people in this house over the last, it'll be 3 years. In the end of January.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I've met so many people and I had to do that for myself because I wanted to community. And then I realized that I had to be a joiner. I'm not a joiner. My personality is not to be a joiner, but you have to be a joiner on this island. Yep. And so I got involved in boards and different things, nonprofit things that I find very important in order to meet people who are actually making a difference on the island. And that's what you have to do. Sometimes you just have to step outside yourself.
Absolutely. I heard it said this way, like you need to find a map or look at locations near you where people are meeting and talking about the things that are interesting to you. Yeah. Or they're doing the activity that you already do on your own. Right. And just go there.
Yeah. That's what you have to do. Yeah. Okay. So on the flip side, let's talk about, like we mentioned it a little bit, but someone in their 20s and 30s, why does this island make it a great place for you to live? Yeah. Opposed to hard to live? What's the other side of the glass half full?
Well, yeah, this is the part I like to focus on. The piece of getting to know your neighbor. I think that there was this trend in 2020 and with the pandemic of kids my age looking up and maybe realizing they aren't where they want to be. And there was sort of this, what's the word? It was like this fantasy that was like permeating all of media of like, you can leave the city and go out to like this rural paradise.
Right.
And, everyone was talking about how I want to leave my corporate job and go pick apples.
Yes.
And that's,
now I'm tired of it. I need to go back to the city.
Picking apples is really hard because you have to take care of the apple tree for the whole year. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that what is really exciting about living in this area is that you can grow and be shaped with it. And I'm just of the belief, and I see this all the time with conservation work, is like everything is connected to each other. And so by my being here, I'm changing the way that this landscape functions. I'm also, and that can be a positive and a negative thing.
Yeah.
And also I'm being changed by the things that are here, or positively or negatively. And I've grown so much, like as an adult, but as a person. And I've really gained a lot of self-confidence of being able to approach a problem and find a solution, whether that's, getting a leak
right
in November, or how am I going to address this really tricky conversation with the people that I live next to?
Yeah.
And it's all possible and doable. I just really had this strong craving to know people, like really know them,
right?
And it to be safe and comfortable. And
I love that attitude.
Yeah. And there is a lot of opportunity to steward intimacy and to steward close connections and relationships to the people and to the land that we're on.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do love that, because one of the things I noticed from observing you when you were speaking at the garden club and here today is there is a calmness about your personality where, for me, I can act calm, but it doesn't mean I'm calm inside.
Right. The eye flare with that. Yeah.
Yeah. The things that are spinning in my head, the whole thing. And, it's for someone who has moved many times with my spouse's job and happened to reconnect to community once again. You would think I've had it down, but something happens when you get older where you truly, and it's one thing I just really respect about you, but when you get older, that because of you're weary, you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care, There's a whole thing going around the internet of all these women who've gotten 50 or older telling everybody what they don't care about. Because it's supposed to be funny, but at the end of the day, it's really not funny.
Yeah. I see kind of the apathy burnout.
Well, some of it is that sometimes before that, maybe you care too much and you should let it go. So it's more about not saying I don't care, but I've let this go, which is a more positive.
I like that. Well, yeah, because when you said, this is what I don't care about, I think about, how much clutter could I remove from my life? And, focus on what I do care about.
Yes.
So, like, replace the what I don't care about with what I do care about.
And so it's not really negative what they're saying. It's how they're saying it,
I see.
Which is a skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a skill.
All in and of itself. Okay. So Whidbey has such a strong sense of place, like we just talked about. How has living here changed the way you think about stewardship or community involvement? Is that how it always has been, how you felt? Or like you said, you've grown?
It's absolutely grown. I think there's the foundation that I started with, which is being a really gregarious child who would literally run after strangers in the grocery store parking lot, like, pick me up.
Oh, my dog Pepper.
Yeah. I relate to Pepper a lot.
Yeah.
So I started there and just wanting to be friends with people. And as I've like gained experience and grown, like learning that is a calling, is also a practice, and something that you learn and tailor, and you put boundaries in as well. I think that how that has changed with being here, though, is that I'm learning that there's work to the practice. Like I said, with taking care of the apple tree all through the year, it's like that.
Yeah.
And I think also you have to be kind of eyes wide open. I definitely have an idealism streak, but also I need to be grounded in the way that things are.
Yeah.
And I think also there's this long history that has existed on Whidbey since time immemorial. And now we're here, brand new people to a very old place. And what I'm talking about when I say time immemorial is the experience of indigenous people who like called Whidbey their home. And so what this needs to inspire in me is how can I be someone who is not another person that's just detracting from this really difficult history? And how can I be here respectfully and also learn as I'm going, and also accept my mistakes or the things where I just really miss it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like learning how to take feedback and not let it destroy you.
Right. Yeah.
As, a recovering perfectionist. And I see that a lot with this history on Whidbey is it's so easy to hear that there were people before us and who are currently still here, and really close ourselves off to that, and really think and have a gut reaction and a gut impulse to how to address that. And living here has helped me sit with uncertainty and also uncomfortability, and let those things be. And those are great teachers as well, right?
One of the things that I'll speak to about that is how I deal with that is I will never be one to stick my head in the sand, which then makes you complicit to the status quo.
Right.
So my goal is always to not be complicit.
Yeah.
So 10 years down the road and you look back to the things that are going on today, were you complicit in any way? I don't want to say that. I don't want that legacy of being complicit.
Right. Yeah.
And so what can I do to not be? So with that, one of the things I was thinking of is, have you ever had, because I know this has happened to me, a dead set perspective and then heard someone else's and changed your mind? Yeah.
I have. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. More times than I would think. And I think it also depends on the attitude of the person who's speaking to the dead set person.
Right.
Like if we're both dead set, nothing is going to happen that's constructive.
No.
But like what I've learned from people and what I try to model is that I can sit and listen to you, and I'm going to give you the respect of listening to you.
Right.
And in doing so, you all are also going to sit and listen to me with respect. And those are the terms of engagement for that conversation.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I've seen it be really successful. I think that there needs to be more compassion, right? And how we speak with people and how we sit with them. And also I have compassion for myself if I'm having a really difficult conversation. I go on detox afterwards, right?
Yeah, you have to. So talking about that, do you feel that Whidbey Island has some really big environmental challenges that we're facing? And what gives you hope if we do?
Yeah. When I talk about this, I always want to put in the hope piece, because I don't think it's worth, anything if we don't return to hope. I think that Whidbey Island is part of a larger whole that's experiencing really challenging environmental concerns. Like we're talking about sea level rise, or one of the programs we have for farmers is how to use land that is heavily saturated for long periods of time. It's called wet feet farming. And all of these big issues, I think this is just my MO with issues in general, is that there is always a creative solution, and that
like we're now cranberry and rice farmers.
Yeah. Maybe not that extreme.
Yeah.
Maybe some other time.
Yeah.
But I think anything is manageable, again, if we have this eyes wide open approach and are also willing to ask for help, and also willing to admit that we don't know everything, because there's, someone who is working on a great theory in their lab work in LA, and they are ready to test it out, and it might be the right fit for up here. Right.
Well, you have said many things that I think addresses, I was going to ask you about what's your legacy or impact you like to leave here. And you've said a lot of things that I think that the listener could, say, well, we got that with Hannah. But is there anything you'd like to create here, though, that has legacy and impact?
Yeah. I would like to, you say that, and I picture like people dancing and people sharing food, and I want to leave a legacy that it's safe and it's really fun to share with the people that you also share life with.
Yeah.
So I want to see, a tool library that farmers and landowners can, they don't have to go to Home Depot or Tractor Supply to, sink a lot of money into something that they will only use once. And I want there to be more opportunities for connection and for people to be fed and be fed really well. Yeah. So this is what I focus on with school gardens, is we should have access to places where we can be outside, but they should also be beautiful and ready for us.
Right.
And it would also be so wonderful to eat food from there.
Yeah.
And to kind of build this empowerment with people of I don't have to worry about, my grocery store bill necessarily. I could, go to the school pickup line and pick some carrots for dinner. And I mean, those are small potatoes, but I think having more little pockets of joy and also provision for people, that's the legacy I want to leave. Yes.
Go to the school pickup line and get some carrots.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my dream.
That's great. Okay. We're going to do some rapid fire questions that I like to do. So favorite quiet spot on Whidbey to recharge?
South Whidbey State Park. They have a 500-year-old ancient cedar, and I love to go to that spot.
Yes, I've been there too.
So good.
Sitting in a little bench. Okay. One local food you absolutely love.
I love the knots from Goldie's. Get that for the table.
Yeah.
And probably some wood-fired carrots as well.
Yeah. Yum. Okay. A native plant everyone on Whidbey should be able to identify.
I think snowberry. Snowberry is everywhere.
I was wondering what you were going to say, but yeah, snowberry. But you know what? I was so disappointed in the snowberry because when I first moved here, the forest across the street had loads of it. And I thought, I am going to decorate for Christmas with that. And every one I cut, the snowberries fell off.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be cut.
Well,
they're meant to be looked at from afar.
Truly. And I think maybe it's the time of year, because when I harvested snowberry for that same thing, for
Did you?
a table piece, it was end of October.
Okay.
And I think that the berries were brand new enough. They weren't falling off yet.
Okay, so that's why.
But I think
you wait till December.
You wait till December. They're gone.
Okay.
But it's great for like shoreline or bluff stabilization. It's on all the hedges.
Mm-hmm.
Snowberry is a good one to know.
So do you like to work or write or sit and stare at any local coffee shop on the island?
I do. I have two answers for this, because when I'm in South Whidbey, that is Salton Sea in Langley. And then when I'm up in Oak Harbor, I like the Pioneer Whidbey Coffee.
Yeah.
They have that big fireplace.
Yes.
And I could just
so cozy.
Spend the whole day there.
Yeah. I've recently learned from someone I follow on Instagram how it's okay to sit and stare.
Yeah, it is. And we should all do it.
Sit and stare time. Okay. A book or podcast that's inspiring you lately?
The Green Ages by Annette Cannell. And it's about, what's the second title? It's revolutions in, it's maybe not revolutions, but it's like regenerative and environmental technology that was developed during the Middle Age period.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, and looking at like sophisticated technology like a windmill. So that's basically a landlocked sailboat is how I like to describe it, except it's like a 4-ton building that's on an axle that you can pick up this little block brake and shift the building so that the sails, the turbine on top can catch the wind.
Oh,
and because it's wind powered, it works these gears inside that turn a grain mill. So that's how people would get their flour.
Okay, and that is very interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And I had no idea what a windmill even meant. Like, I just took that word for granted.
Right.
And then I learned the breakdown of like, oh, that's renewable energy.
It's wind that helps mill.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, this period in time that we like to think is kind of behind was coming up with some really fascinating technological innovation. That's hard to say. Yeah. Technological
innovations. Yes. So you lead community workshops. Is there any unexpected difficulties that you found? You're like, that's surprising. Technology. Yeah, always technology.
Yeah.
You'd think by now.
Yeah, there's always something that goes wrong that I have to adjust to in real time.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I have kind of a base level, and I really appreciate what you said earlier, that I have this calm demeanor, because when there is an issue happening, I am panicking internally.
Internally. Yeah. It's always on the inside with this calmness on the outside.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want anyone to see you sweat.
Yeah, no, make a joke, no one will know. Yeah.
So what's harder, getting kids to weed or getting adults excited about habitat restoration?
Definitely the latter.
Yeah.
Kids love to weed.
Yeah, I was about to say. What do kids care about that?
I know.
It's adults who don't want to weed, like me.
I know. Well, and I like to think it's because in the environment I'm meeting them in, they're also getting out of class.
Yeah.
So anything outside of class is fun. But I think a lot of adults are burnt out, and so learning that there's another thing they need to pay attention to, that's hard. So I try to be, again, creative with how I reach those folks.
Yep. Okay, one thing you always keep in your card for field days or outdoor events?
A slide whistle.
Oh,
that is. You're not expecting that. Yeah, I have a couple of noisemakers, but I like to have something. Attention. Yeah, to get attention. That's fun. That's not me yelling.
Yeah. That's very smart.
Thank you.
I need to get myself a slide whistle now. Okay.
when I have my events here, I tap, just to be frou-frou, I tap a wine glass, but a slide whistle would be fun.
A slide whistle is fun. Mm-hmm. Have a little fun with it.
Okay, so what is your favorite season on Whidbey, and one word to describe that season?
I think late spring is my absolute favorite, and I feel like I come alive. Yeah, but I think the word to describe that would be windy. That is the trade-off. I think, life. It's just like the reminder that we come back to life.
And that's when it starts.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you could start any dream project on the island tomorrow with unlimited funding, to make that clear, what would it be?
That's a dangerous question. It would be a big, like barn, or Bainbridge Island has this, but it's an art studio that I think you have to pay a membership for, but I would want it to be free. You can come in and use woodworking supplies, or like a loom, or like with that tool library idea. Yeah. And I'm a very crafty person. I have all my own projects, and whenever I'm doing that, I'm just like, I wish I wasn't by myself.
Well, I just watched a video. As far as your tool library, I just watched a video of a community that has a library. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's like that. It's an old library building not being used. You can literally go to it and check out things that you're only going to use once. Like if you were going to use
a power washer,
you didn't want to spend a couple $100s on it, and you didn't have the money to go rent it.
Yeah.
You can go literally check this out.
That is
a power washer
amazing.
That someone has donated to the lending tool library.
I love that.
All kinds of things. I'll have to find that for you and send it to you.
I have a friend who relocated to Finland, and their public library is like, it has a recording studio. Mm-hmm. You can check out a telescope for stargazing. They have a sewing machine. Like, it's just amazing.
This particular article or video I watched, it was a video because they said loads of people donated sewing machines.
Yeah.
And, the same thing. But it was amazing, the stuff that they had in this place, Yeah. That's such a great idea. I think that can totally be done here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're just looking for the right set of skills and people. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maxie.
I really enjoyed speaking with you.
This was a pleasure. Likewise. Thank you so much.
Hannah, thank you for the work you're doing and for choosing to do it here. Conversations like this remind me that stewardship isn't just about protecting land or water. It's about people deciding to stay, to care, and to imagine a future together. Your perspective as a young professional building a life on Whidbey is important. It challenges us to think about how we support the next generation of island stewards, not just through environmental programs, but through housing, opportunity, and belonging. I'm grateful for the way you're helping connect education to action and for the steady, hopeful work you're doing through the Whidbey Island Conservation District. For listeners who want to learn more, get involved, or support this work, we'll share links to WICD programs and upcoming events in the show notes. Hannah, thank you for being part of this community and for being part of Local Whidbey Podcast. An intention of the Local Whidbey with Maxie podcast is support of organizations who directly serve locals. No one should have to choose between a meal and a maxi pad. Bras equal dignity and better health. I support the girls. Whidbey Island provides free feminine hygiene products, bras, and new underwear to local women in need. Donations always are welcome. Go to their Facebook page to check out all of the drop-off locations on the island. There are at least 19 locations. They also have a wish list on Amazon. Your gift today changes lives on Whidbey Island.